Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love. My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for today, Friday, June 16th of 2023. Had to think about what day it was for for a moment there. So it's been a very interesting week so far. I'm sure you guys can feel this building energy. We had all these squares this week, and we are building up to that new moon in Gemini. So let's hop right into it today, right? So right off the back, starting off 6:30 in the morning, at least here on the eastern coast, we have that moon in Gemini at 4 degrees, and guess what? It is making a semi square over to Chiron. Start off the day. Oh boy. Talk about, first of all, emotionally, us wanting to really have all these different answers, us wanting to have these answers sort of delivered to us with this Gemini energy, especially now that Mercury is here and the sun is here. The moon has joined the fray, but it is a dark moon, right? So we are heading towards this point of a sort of refresh and a new beginning, and the moon trying to figure out some stuff here and trying to get emotionally on the same page as Mercury and stuff like that. It's going to be trying to catch up the whole day, but it makes, like I said, that semi square over to Chiron. It's about a 45-degree angle that it makes to start off the day. Chiron, of course, which is at 19 degrees of Aries, won't go past this degree, even though it's technically moving fast. It won't go past this degree. There's definitely going to be this element today where we are wanting to connect with people via the Gemini energy, but then with that semi square to Chiron, boy, oh boy, if we do not know ourselves and if we are expecting other people to cater to our wounding, if you will, we might have a tough time at this. This is really about taking some personal responsibility and accountability for what has happened to us in our lives and stuff like that. That's not to say that we can't show sympathy and empathy for people, but that moon in Gemini, like I said, it's not the most. It's a water planet. It's a water-like planet in a air sign, a mutable air, mind you, right? So it's not exactly going to be the most the most sympathetic day. In fact, this is a day where we may even make light of our emotions. This could be a day where we might want to just laugh things off. I'm telling you, with the semi square to Chiron, whatever like that, this is sort of like a laugh at my pain kind of energy. Not even gonna lie, starting off the day, and really not to take things super, super seriously. But if you take things super, super seriously when it comes to the character of who you are, the way that you act, um, personality type things, the semi square can be a little bit rough just because you're not necessarily going to know how to deal with it. Now, we all have our wounding, we all have our character flaws, if you will. And if we over identify with those character flaws and we expect other people to cater to those flaws, and we may run into some troubles today. Like I said, the moon starts off with that energy, and the moon moves really fast, so it's going to come off of the semi square rather quickly. But that's the way that the day starts, at least in the eastern coast. Now, if you're on the west coast, if you're in California or something like that, it'll be what 3:30, so it'll be like the middle of the night. So, um, I mean, this could affect like your dream state. You may be up killing it at that time. I don't know. Some people do like to get up at like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. I will say though that a lot of times those early hours in the morning is when I get some of like my best work done. So there's something to be said about that time when just about everyone else is asleep and you're up and you're doing whatever it is, whether it's exercising, whether it's working on your craft or something like that. So we do have that energy starting off the day, right? Now, remember, so we are also coming off of the square of Mercury to Saturn, which was yesterday. That wasn't necessarily the easiest energy. Definitely could be a little bit moody if things weren't going exactly the way that we thought that they were going to go, and trying to force our ideal on spirit instead of us just going with the flow of the universe. So the moon will also reach that point too today. The moon is going to square Saturn. And Yeah, Saturn's gonna win that battle. You got to remember, the Moon rules Cancer, Saturn rules Capricorn, so are naturally opposing like energies, and with the Moon being in Gemini, trying to catch up to Mercury, and is going to be catching up to the Sun. Saturn, which is in Pisces, right? I'm gonna change this to the wheel. I'm gonna change the wheel style so it shows like the decans and stuff like that. There you go. Um, but Saturn is here in Pisces, right? It's in the decan ruled by Neptune, and then you have Neptune here, which is in the decan ruled by Pluto, and Pluto's over here in Capricorn. So a lot of things are kind of coming back to this energy, where while we do want to feel youthful, we want to feel the passion, especially with all this Leo energy. We still want to move things forward as far as that goes. There's still going to be challenges that we come up against, and we have to just accept the divine timing of the universe. So if we try and force our ideals on what we think is supposed to look like, you're not really going to have a great time. This is why it's really best with the Moon and Gemini to not take ourselves so seriously. To not take ourselves so seriously. We almost got to be like a comedian through this. We got to be able to find happiness in the small things. You got to be able to find the joke in the small things. If you can't joke about yourself during this time, during the time when this moon is in Gemini and during this dark phase leading up to the new moon, if you can't learn to just joke about yourself and joke about things that are happening, then it's going to be tough. You know, and it's interesting how comedy can really be a medicine, if you will, even in the darkest of times, even in some of the most traumatic of times, some of the most trying of times. Comedy and making light of things and stuff goes a really long way. It's not necessarily that we're suppressing what's happening and not acknowledging what may be happening, but this is also sort of like make light of it, especially because there are certain situations in our life that we probably are overthinking. That Mercury it's still squaring Saturn. It's in 1 degree orb, so it's still effectively squaring it. So it's like there's going to be this element where we are still in many ways overthinking things, and it's almost like we feel like overthinking things. We're trying to think our way into a solution when really that's not how this is going to work. You can't think your way into a solution today. You have to just like take the little bits of information that you do have, take the value that you are building, and just take these little increment steps towards the life that you want to create, the life that you want to build. Not having the full thing together. That's not what this is about. You gotta I remember there was I can't remember if it was like last week or the week before. I made a video, a daily an astrology forecast, where I mentioned how whenever you're like assembling things now, like if you like buy like some furniture, and whenever you assemble it, like 90% of the time now it's just pictures and there's like no words right now. That's kind of how this energy still is. It's like we're trying to assemble this life, and we want the communication, right? We want the words, we want all that sort of stuff, but it's not going to be revealed to us. Mercury's not going to catch up to the sun while it's in Gemini. It's going to happen in Cancer. It's not going to happen while it's in Gemini. It's desperately trying to catch up to it. Thankfully, we have the moon that's going to pass over Mercury. That's going to pass over these degrees that the sun has already gone over, and that will conjunct the sun, right? But it's not going to be Mercury. So the mind isn't going to catch up with the heart just yet, right? The moon will. So emotionally, it will catch up, but not quite yet. That's why it's also very important to be sound of heart and sound of mind, sound emotionally, and sound value wise. I talked about that yesterday with, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, how it's important to be sound of all these things, because we've had a lot of fixed energy over like this last year, especially with the nodes here, especially with, Uranus and Taurus. We have Jupiter that's gone to Taurus. We had all that Aquarian energy. We hadn't seen that much Aquarian energy in a while. You know what I mean? But now these energies are starting to shift, and now they are starting to shift. Now, we have all this. We have more mutable energy with the Pisces stuff. Of course, we have all the Gemini energy. Albeit those energies will kind of move and stuff. The nodes are about to shift into cardinal energy too. That's the other part about this. So there's definitely some shifts right now. We're not going to have all the answers, but we do have some answers, and that should be okay. It's okay if we have some of the answers. We don't need to know the full story and how it's going to play out. And I think there's this level where people want guarantees in life. They want things to be promised to them. There's like they've been told certain things. They've been told that they will be promised certain things in their life if they just do these things. And those things are going to start to fall away, right? Because nothing is necessarily promised. And that's the thing. We have created, at least here in the Western world, if you're watching this video, you're in a Western world, in a Western country, more than likely, we have created these lives that are so seemingly guaranteed, but nothing is guaranteed. That's why it's so important to count our blessings too, because nothing is guaranteed. I just freaking read, oh wow, USA scored again. Sorry, I have the game on over here in the background. Let's see if I can even. Well, there's no way you guys can see that. You can see the TV, but there's no way you guys can actually see what's going on the TV. But I guess USA scored a goal. Nice. But I just got notification that Ray Lewis, uh, famed linebacker for the Ravens, his son, who's 28, just passed away. No details have come out, but damn, 28? I'm 31. Like, what is going on? We don't know the details of this, of course. I'm not going to make any type of speculations or anything, but it's really about counting your blessings because nothing is guaranteed in life. We have been fooled and tricked into thinking that things are guaranteed in life, but that's not the case. The only thing that's guaranteed is death. And the rest of it, we can make of it what we want to. That's the beauty of life, is that we do have free will. The only thing that we don't have free will over is the fact that we're all gonna die. I guess technically there is some free will when it comes to that. If you choose to take yourself out, and if you are ever feeling that way, please go get help and call the suicide hotline, because you are so much more valuable than you realize right now. You have people that absolutely love you. So just tidbit right there. But count your blessings. It's really important to count our blessings, to not take everything super, super seriously. With this moon in Gemini, is definitely asking us to kind of make light of some things. Try and find the humor in things. How many times have you had different things that happened in the past that when you were in that moment, it was just the worst thing that ever could happen? And then you look back and you have a good chuckle about it. You look back and you have a good chuckle about it. I'll give you guys an example of one, right? Looking back, this is hilarious. So, one day at work, right? Me and my coworker, he doesn't even work there anymore, but me and my coworker, we walked down to the restaurant on the other side of the plaza, right? And we saw this very nice car. It was like a 70s Chevrolet or something like that. It was beautiful. It was red, beautiful interiors, like black interior as well. It was just a beautiful fucking car, right? Um for some reason, he thought it was a good idea. And what's weird too about it is that he's like 21 and I'm like 30, right? We're like, yeah, I'm like 30 at this point, right? So I'm a good bit older than this guy. I should know better, right? The car was open. He gets in the car and just like sits in the car because the car was fucking open, right? Um, and there was like a for sale sign on it, but and we didn't know. We were confused. We're like, did someone just leave his car here? Like, we were confused, right? Anyways, he gets in the car and sits in it, right? And then eventually I get in the car and sit in it. Now he gets out and then I get into the driver's seat. And then the owner came out and it was pissed. It was pretty much saying, what the hell was our problem and all this sort of stuff like that. And I'm thinking, my mind immediately went to this place. I'm like, oh crap, I'm black. This old white dude's gonna get mad. He's probably thinking I'm stupid. He's probably calling me the N-word in his head. I'm thinking I'm going through all of this stuff, right? And I'm just like, this was so out of character. Why in the world would I sit in a random person's car? It was a nice ass fucking car, but why would I even do that? I'm like, just because I had the for sale sign on it, it's like he was in the restaurant, he came out and he caught us, whatever like that, right? Now, of course, my luck, I'm the one that gets caught, not my friend. Um, even though he was sitting in the car for a longer time than me and he sat in there first. But that's just kind of how it is. This is also sort of that energy where it's like if you see other people getting away with things and you try to do it, you're not necessarily going to get away with it. But the point of the story is that afterwards I was like stressing about it. I was worried. I thought the dude was going to call the cops potentially and all this sort of stuff. None of that ever happened. We never saw the dude again. We never saw the car again. And it took a little bit, but like about a month or two later, I began to like really laugh about it because I thought it was really funny. Hey, I got to sit in a very nice car, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not tripping about that. But that's this kind of energy. It's like in that moment afterwards, I was mortified that this random stranger caught me in his car, despite the fact that he left his car door freaking open. No keys, obviously, but he left it freaking open, and me and my coworker sat in his car, and I was mortified that I did something so out of character. But now I can look back and laugh on it because it's funny as an experience, and it happened, right? Dude probably forgot all about us, right? So that's just the sort of energy. It's like we can look back on things that happened before, and we can kind of have a nice little chuckle about it. Now that moon is going to, as you can see, it's going to square over to Saturn while Mercury has moved to 9 degrees, and the moon will conjunct Mercury at 9 degrees as well. So by this point, Venus will have moved to 10 degrees. So getting to that second decade of Leo, it really moves officially into it at like 11 degrees, but 10 degrees is starting to really start to get into that second decade, that second expression of Leo, which is the Jupiter energy. It's ruled by Jupiter. And of course, Jupiter is over here in that first second of Taurus. So we're going to have the moon meet up with Mercury. So we're going to have like this emotional aspect and the mental aspect meet up in Gemini. Once again, looking for these answers and trying to feel things out. But it's almost gonna be sort of like the moon reaches the Mercury, and Mercury's gonna be like, hey, yo, I have this, I got 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 this. Mercury's gonna be trying to come with all these different receipts, and emotionally, we're gonna be like, whoa, I don't know if I can like take all this information in right now. I just freaking squared Saturn. I know you did too, but I just freaking squared Saturn in Pisces. I don't know if I could just take all this in right now, right? I just had I just went through Taurus, even though I was exalted. You know what I mean? It's like I just got done conjuncting Uranus too. Like I just got done freaking trining Pluto, and even though it's a trine, like this is just a lot of information to take in. So emotionally today, I think like that's why I think it's really going to be good to try and just keep things light today, keep things fun today, because by midday, well, by like mid afternoon, if you will, like 3:30, at least here on the East Coast, and the moon meets up with Mercury, and it's getting ever so closer to that new moon degree that's going to happen. Of course, the moon is also going to be sextiling over to Venus as well. So that's kind of nice. That energy is going to be building up, right? So we are definitely wanting to receive. We're wanting to receive this love. We're wanting to receive this passion that Venus is looking for in Leo. We're wanting to receive it. We're really wanting to feel it out, but we're kind of relying on it from a sort of mental aspect. This is why it's going to be really important to be a little bit more fluid and to not necessarily allow things, information, and stuff like that to really dictate our emotions. Whenever whatever type of communications come through, whatever type of thoughts come through, especially with the moon, Mercury, and the sun here, things can definitely be a bit all over the place. And us trying to make all these different connections and trying to draw all these different lines, whatever like that, we can definitely get in our heads a bit today potentially, and start coming up with all these different conspiracies on why my life isn't working out the way that I want to. Why isn't it working out exactly that way? Just slow it down, chill out. Saturn is slowing down, Venus is slowing down. We're about to go into a review period. It's a lot of work that you've already done, a lot of things that you've already done and put into motion, put into place. Work on those things. Take those incremental steps. Like I've been saying this whole week, it's about putting one step in front of the other, not trying to run an entire marathon right now, unless you are a marathon runner and that's what you do for a living. But you don't have to run an entire marathon today, and you don't have to feel like if you don't run that marathon that you're not valuable. That's the other part too, is that you have something that you are building towards, right? And just because you haven't necessarily obtained that goal, if you will, doesn't make you any less valuable. In fact, the way that you get there is by seeing your value uncompromisingly. That's how you get to that stage. And oftentimes, once you get to that stage, it's just it's just the next thing. You achieve it, you achieve the goal, you celebrate for a little bit, and then you go to the next one. It's just like in sports. You know, you get to the goal, you win a championship, but guess what? You got to defend it next year, you know? And it's not easy to win. It's not easy to win two championships in a row or three. It's not easy to do that. It's possible, but it's not easy. So enjoy life today. Try not to take things super, super seriously. Know that you are uncovering answers, just albeit slowly. And just be okay with that. Be okay with the divine timing of the universe, right? So let's see what the cards have to say for today. So I wonder who scored the second goal. All right, let's see what we have going on for you all this Friday, June 16th. All right, beloved. Let's see what we got. What did I say? It's the Seven of Pentacles. Didn't I say to just take your time with things? Appreciate every step of the journey. Appreciate the seemingly mundane. It's like, oh man, normally it shows someone raking leaves, but this time he's holding a shovel, which I actually really like. Planting trees. Have you ever planted a tree before? Like, I remember, golly, I remember growing up, my dad used to plant all these cypress Leland trees, right? Every place that we pretty much lived at, we would plant these trees. And I remember one day at one of our houses, we had planted like I don't know how many trees we had planted, but it was a lot. Um, and they start off really small, right? And it's amazing how fast those things grow, but they still don't grow overnight. But that's the thing about it too. It's like some of you guys are afraid to dig holes. Some of you guys are afraid to kind of get your hands dirty and actually start to like work, build, plant. That's what this is all about. This is about seeing how far that we have come and everything like that. Not this is the Seven of Pentacles is someone. This is not someone who just started their journey yesterday. This is someone that has actually been at it for a while. And while they may not have necessarily a whole lot to show for it, they have something to show for it. And they're going to keep moving forward. What I love about this card too is that he's smiling. If I can get the, cause I have that light on me, so maybe that's why it's not. Oh, yeah, he's kind of smiling, You see that? Bit of a smirk, kind of making light of it, He's working hard, he's sweating, but he's smiling. Normally, just shows someone like raking leaves, and he's just sitting on his thing, just looking at it, so fixated on, no, this is all I have to show for it. This guy is like, this is all I have to show for it. Huh? Different energy, right? We also have, we have the Three of Cups. So this is why I'm saying, like, yeah, definitely make light of things today. Celebrate. Find there are people in your life that you can celebrate your wins with. This is a day of recognizing your wins and celebrating those wins with the people that matter most to you. And to, like, seriously, like, appreciate those people. Count your blessings. We had the Queen of Swords in reverse. Yeah, you're not going to have all the answers. You know what I mean? You're not going to have all the answers. Queen of Swords is Moon conjuncting Mercury and Gemini, squaring Saturn and Pisces, where emotionally we're wanting to kind of have all of our ducks in a row. And it's like thinking that, all right, I'll feel good when everything's going well and everything's in order. Having that thought repetitively, I will feel good when everything's in order, right? But that's just not the case here. It's not the case here. You got to be able to dance in the storm. You got to be able to dance in the rain. That's kind of what these girls are doing right here, right? They're dancing, they're having fun. Now, mind you, the sun is behind them. But if it is raining, whether it's actually physically raining where you are today, or you just feel like it's raining in life, learn how to dance in the rain, right? One of my favorite memories was there was like a it was like a hurricane that had came through. This is when I was like really young. It was like a hurricane that had came through Florida, and of course made its way to Georgia and just dumped a whole bunch of rain, dumped a whole bunch of water, and what was so funny too is that like it was like me, my brother, my dad, and one of our friends in the neighborhood that was we're just playing outside in the downpouring rain. There's no thunder, no lightning, it was just rain. And we were just playing outside having fun. And then our friend's mom had came by and had drove by and she was like, "What are you doing outside? It's raining." Blah, 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 blah. And this chick sped off so fast that pretty much she went on her back. She was an SUV and her front wheels pretty much came off as she sped off. She didn't even bother to pick up her son either. I guess she wanted her son to walk home in the rain, which was very weird, but she sped off because she was like so mad that he was still playing outside when it was raining like that. We all looked at each other and we just laughed. We're like, all right, well, I guess you got to go home now. But it was just such a bizarre experience. So that's what this is sort of like. It's like taking things so super seriously, even when things may seem not per se ideal, but just like you gotta be able to laugh it off. You know what I'm saying? You can't just don't be because like you never like if you go back on the back, well, she could have I don't know. I just thought it was crazy. I can't believe that happened. Like I said, that was a while ago. Today is definitely it's funny. Yesterday I pulled the Six of Cups, and today I'm having all these nostalgic kicks. So let's see what we got for the Oracle card for the day. So oh, something happened over here. Someone got knocked over. Let's see what happened. Ooh, he definitely got clipped. Is that a yellow card at least? He straight clipped him. He didn't even get anywhere near the ball. What the? Oh, it was a straight red. Oh man, look at that. He got a straight red card. Wow. All right. Anyways, we have the card of empowerment. This is actually one of my favorite cards in this particular deck. The card of empowerment. You saw how I almost went into my little country slip there. I get so many people that are like asking me where I'm from. People thinking that I'm from like New York. I've gotten New York. I've gotten Minnesota. I've gotten California. I've gotten all kinds of things. My non from Georgia's like, you don't sound like you have an accent. You don't sound like you're from the South. And I'm like, I don't know what people from the South are supposed to sound like per se, especially since I'm. Oh, that's a whole nother story. But uh, it comes out every so often. my the accent comes out every so often, especially when I get really excited about things. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in deep trust that we are connected through the same source. Yeah, don't take things super seriously today. Realize that you are connected to other people, and that's where your true empowerment lies. Your true empowerment lies in the fact that you can dance in the rain and the sunshine. You could dance when it's dark outside and when it's light outside. You could dance when it's foggy outside and you can't see anything, and when everything is clear. Your empowerment is by connecting with those that you care about, that you love, that you hold in high value, and people that build you up. That's where your empowerment comes. And knowing that we are ultimately all connected. It doesn't matter how different you are from the other person, we are all still connected. That's where your true empowerment lies. And once we realize that as humanity, and it takes some time, of course, it's going to take a lot of time, but the true empowerment is realizing that you are no different from the person that you think is so, so different from you, that you guys don't have anything in common, and you guys can't find some sort of, you know, levelness between you guys. But that's absolutely further from the truth. And the moment that we all realize that we are all truly connected and that there's nothing really major that separates all of us, the world will become a better place. That's my Sag and Pisces talking about, kumbaya stuff and wanting things to come together. Because ultimately, I believe that we're all radiators of love. That's why I always say fellow radiators of love when I start these videos. So feel empowered today. Don't take things super seriously today. Like, Still recognize your value, your worth, and what you're building. Be serious about those things, but have fun with the journey. Don't take things super seriously. And if weird things happen today that may make you feel a little bit off, learn to laugh about it and stuff like that, right? So, and if it's like really, really dark and stuff like that, like if a loved one passes or something weird happens, just remember the good times. Remember the good times and revel in that stuff, right? That is going to do it for your video today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate that. Be sure to hit the bell so you receive all of the notifications whenever I make these videos. And check out how these planets and the stars are playing out for you. So I will see you all on the next video, which will probably be, oh yeah, it will be the weekend video, which I will be talking about that new moon at Gemini. So happy Friday, y'all. Stay blessed. Have a great day. Peace out. Sayonara. I'll see y'all later.